Everybody, welcome to Visual Communication and Media. My name is Adam Rozeski. It's a pleasure to see each and every one of you. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hope everyone's having a good week. We're almost about halfway through the course, so we only got about 2.5 weeks left, so keep that in mind. Other than that, I figured we'd talk about the end of semiotics and something that'll help you out with your assignment this week. Logos, and how logos are super important and how they play a part with symbols and the identification of a product or service in a lot of different ways. And it even goes down to possibly what the company stands for or what the group stands for in more ways than one based upon the visuals that they choose. And everything's kind of strategically built. For example, logos are a visual representation of the product or company experience. It directly correlates to what they're doing or what that profit or that program is or what that product is overall. And they need to be simple and easy to understand. They also got to translate in size as well, because you got to see something on the size of like a billboard compared to like an Apple Watch. It's got to make sense no matter where it's located at. And you always got to consider font style and format from a cultural standing, because if you're selling across overseas, you want to make sure that you're not offending anybody. For example, Target and Nike, very straightforward symbols. They don't really offend too much in any ways. For example, Target, they want to be the target area of where you can find anything that you need at all. So that's why they use a bullseye as their logo. And same thing with Nike, where Nike wants to be the high-end retailer for any type of material or any type of product that deals with sportswear. And so that's why they use the Greek athleticism symbol to showcase that they're into sports, into athletics, and how their products relate to that in more ways than one. Now, there's 7 different types of logos. They all have their own different concepts. There's the abstract mark, where the colors themselves and the way they're shaped is specific to that company. For example, Pepsi's logo has been a logo they used for decades, and it really ties into the company's history, so that's why they utilize the red, white, and blue colors and the circle of how it was the original mark of the company itself, and so they've never really changed it. It's abstract. It doesn't really mean anything other than specifically to the company itself. Now, you also have the mascot logo. That means that they have like some type of mascot that promotes them. For example, a lot of times you see sports with mascots. KFC is a big one where they have the Colonel and he's right in front all the time. Wendy's, when they use Wendy in front and with the red hair and the pigtails, those are mascots. And if they put the mascot in the logo, that's really the focus on. KFC uses the Colonel all the time, so he's directly located into that logo. Now, there's combination marks, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll come back to that one. Now, emblems are a lot more traditional. They are really based on heraldry, and they focus on a lot of different traditional aspects to showcase tradition and also heritage in a lot of ways. Schools use this, companies, really old school companies use this, hospitals, government organizations, really high-end social groups, they tend to use emblems a lot. And families, if over time that they've had something to identify the family, that's also on there as well. For example, Harvard's logo right here, we have the wreath labeled with Harvard, and the scroll has the shield in the middle of it with 3 books that say the Latin word veritas, which stands for truth. And they picked these visuals to showcase that Harvard is the place to understand truth and knowledge. And so that's why that logo kind of ties into it in more ways. Now, there's also the bottom 3, which are marks, but you have a letter mark, a pictorial mark, and a word mark. Now, the letter mark is just the acronym of the company or the organization. For example, NASA. It's really hard to like try and brand or put like the whole name of the National Administration Space Association out there and put that on like a big like billboard or something. That's a lot of words. So they abbreviated it and created NASA, and then they use that. So the letter marks are only just the abbreviation of what the concept is, and they use a really interesting font style to kind of showcase that futuristic element to it, so that's why it works great with NASA. Now, pictorial marks are just an image, no words, that describes that company and those experiences. For example, Apple computers, they use the black apple with the bite in it. It's very futuristic in the way the apple is shaped. It's more like an icon, like a computer icon. And so that's what kind of ties into the pictorial mark for Apple. No words, just the image itself. And then finally, you have a word mark. Word mark is just the name of that company. keep in mind a lot of word marks are very small with their lettering. Again, if you have like a really big company name like Hewlett Packard Incorporated, that's kind of hard, so they abbreviated it to HP. They created a letter mark out of that. Now, word mark, if you have a smaller name company like Google, real simple to do. You can put it out there, and it's just the name of the company right then and there. It's simple. Now, combination marks, the one we kind of left behind right here, combines 2 or more logos of these other 6 into its own aspect. For example, the combination mark for Burger King has a word mark in the middle of it, but it's tied into an abstract mark as well because they use the lettering for the meat of the burger and then they use 2 buns on top of it with a swoosh. So they use an abstract concept that's tied to a word mark. So they're using two specific logos to make their own, and that's a combination mark. Now, these are 7 types of logos that are built, but there's a lot more out there, but these are the core main 7 right off the bat. And these help out in more ways than one. So this can help you understand what, just in a basic setting of how logos are kind of built and the symbolism behind them. But other than that, that's all I got this week. So keep in mind, you have your discussion reply post due by the end of the night tonight, and you also have your live lectures and your written assignments due by tomorrow night, by the end of the night. Do keep a look at the assignments or the examples in Teams, and also please take a look at the end of lecture so you can kind of see what we're looking for those assignments as well. Other than that, that's all I got. So I hope everyone has a great week. Be safe, have fun, enjoy, take it easy, and I hope everyone has an awesome one. See you later for lecture on Monday. And that's all I got. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye.